please disregard the fact that I have a pimple patch on my face. But this weekend, UFC 313 Pereira versus Ankalaev takes place, and this event is honestly pretty fire. I'm going to give you my full predictions and breakdown. Let's get right into it with the early prelim opener. Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. Jordan Santos is a solid fighter. He's on a 5-fight win streak, most recently winning a unanimous decision in his Dana White Contender Series, earning him a contract. 3 KOs, 4 submissions, and 3 decisions in his career wins. His only loss came by decision in 2019. He's only 27 and he seems pretty well rounded. Ozzy Diaz, on the other hand, is 34 and he's coming off a KO loss to Ming Yang Zhang. He also lost to Joe Pyfer a couple years back. He's a little streaky. Out of his 9 wins, 7 of them are by KO, and he is dangerous. But I do lean Jordan Santos' way to get this one done by a 2nd or 3rd round TKO in his debut. I honestly have a lot of KOs on this card. So Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. This is kind of a fun one. Myron Santos is pretty good. He's 14-1. He lost to Dan Argueta in the LFA. He's coming off a KO win in his debut over Kane Olfley. 8 of his 14 wins are coming by KO, so that's pretty nice. He's super young, he's only 24, but he's facing Francis Marshall, who's also super young, only 25. He won his last fight by decision, but lost 2 in a row before that. One of those to William Gomez, who we do know is quite good. He isn't too powerful, only 1 KO win and 4 submissions, and the rest are decisions. I do think Myron Santos is a better fighter. I think he's more of a power threat and all around more skilled. If this goes to the ground, then maybe Marshall can look for a submission, and the potential is there, but I am going Myron Santos by a 2nd round TKO. Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. Oh boy, Alex Morono. He's very much a journeyman, and he's lost his last 2 fights to Daniel Rodriguez and Nico Price. The craziest thing about Morono is he has a win over Cowboy Cerrone. Granted, it's when Cowboy was absolutely washed, but I can't get over that because I'm a big Cowboy fan. I just can't believe Alex Morono has beat him. Really, Morono beats guys like Court McGee, Tim Means, Mickey Gall, and Carlos Leal's just not as bad as those guys. Leal lost his last fight, but it was to Renat Imbredinov, who just shoots takedowns over and over, and he's been dominant in his career. That was also in his UFC debut, so that's a tough matchup to get in your debut. He put in a lot of work in the LFA and other little promotions. He has 10 KOs and 21 wins. I think he's far more skilled than Morono, way more powerful, and just dangerous in general. I'll be going Carlos Leal, who is a massive favorite in this one, like minus 500 something. I'm going 1st round KO. Morono just isn't that good. Bruno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. Banger alert. This has fight of the night potential written all over it, but so do a lot of fights on this card. Both of these guys are super exciting. Ferreira is coming off a submission loss to Abbas Magomedov, who I do think is underrated. He's KO'd Dustin Stoltzfus and Phil Hawes before that. He has a KO over Gregory Rodriguez, and I don't know, I think Bruno Ferreira is quite good actually, and he's shockingly an underdog in this one. Don't get me wrong, Armen's good. He has KO power, but I think Ferreira's finishing potential is stronger. Armen Petrosyan is on a 2-fight losing streak to Rodolfo Vieira as well as Shara Bullet in that crazy double spinning back fist KO highlight. We all know it. He also has a win over Gregory Rodriguez, which is crazy. I don't really get why he's the favorite going into this. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think Bruno is more dangerous. I think Armen's confidence after the Shara KO has to be real low. I'm picking Bruno Ferreira by KO again. Again, choosing lots of finishes on this card, but there's a lot of potential for him. Joshua Van versus Ray Soraya. I know I said the last one's fight of the night potential, but so is this. This is such a banger. Joshua Van's a fun striker to watch at flyweight. He's supposed to take on Bruno Silva, who I think is more dangerous on the feet than Ray. He's also a good grappler, so Van has definitely been training for that, but I do think Ray is a much stronger grappler than both Van and Silva. Van got KO'd by Charles Johnson, which is honestly just a very random loss to have on your record. He had a great fight, like one of the best fights I've ever seen against Edgar Chairez, and most recently he beat Cody Durden. He's super active and he's only 23 years old. My God, what am I doing with my life? We haven't seen his grappling tested quite like the way we will see on Saturday against Ray Saira. I can't say that name. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ray is what I'll refer to him as. Is 10-0 and he dominates with his grappling. He gets very good ground and pound opportunities as well as being able to lock up submissions. His scrambles are absolutely insane. He's good. He's very good. These are 2 awesome prospects at flyweight, and I love this fight. It's just sad that one has to lose. I think this matchup will teach each other like a lot in their future careers. I think this is going to take a lot of learning experience for both of them. And honestly, it's tough to lean one way or the other in this fight because they're so different, but I'm gonna go Joshua Van to pull this one off. I think he's really, really good on the feet. I think he can stuff the takedowns, not be dominated in the same way that Ray's dominated some of these other guys. I think Van's just a little too good. He might be a little too much too soon for Ray, but I also could see a world where Ray dominates in the wrestling, just controls him, and gets an impressive win. I am going Joshua Van, 29-28 decision. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev. Wow. Okay, this fight Interesting. Curtis Blades is a beast. He always takes on the next guy. He's always taking on the scariest fighters. And in this one, he's taking on Rizvan Kuniev, who is making his UFC debut. Yeah, against the top 5 heavyweight. And I'll get to why he's getting such a good matchup on his debut in a minute, but we'll talk about Blades first. He has losses in his career, but if you look at him, he's lost to Tom Aspinall, Sergey Pavlovich, Francis Ngannou, and Derek Lewis, who he was dominating before getting caught. He's great, he has power, his takedowns are excellent, his ground and pound is nasty. His nickname's literally Razor because of his razor blades elbows. Okay. He's one of the most well-rounded heavyweights on the roster, and he's taking on a debuting Rizvan Kuniev, and here's why. Rizvan has a win over Renan Fahea, the same guy Francis Ngannou just beat in the PFL. Granted, the fight got overturned due to the fact he was literally on steroids. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the UFC, buddy. He got a first-round TKO on the Contender Series, and now he's here. Don't get me wrong, he's dangerous, but I think the UFC is making a point. They want Blades to dominate the same guy, who beat the guy that Francis beat. That hurt my brain. I don't think Blades is going to ragdoll him. I honestly think this is going to be slightly competitive, but I do ultimately think Blades is going to be able to take him down, maybe drop him, land some big ground and pound, and TKO him within 2 rounds. I think Kuniev is honestly kind of good, but he is a proven roid cheat, so hopefully he's not sauced up for this one. And he had to cheat to win in the PFL and other fight leagues. The UFC's steps ahead. I think Blades is going to win, and I hope they reward him with some good matchups for taking on this fight, because it is very risky for Blades. Very surprised that fight's on the prelims, especially when we'll get to one of the fights on the main card. But for now, main card opener, Bobby Green versus Mauricio Huffy. Whoa. Okay, Bobby Green is one of the streakiest fighters ever, but definitely a test to prove if you're worthy in the lightweight division. He just lost to Paddy Pimblett in his last one, and he has wins over Grant Dawson, Jim Miller, and Tony Ferguson most recently. Do you notice anything about those names? They're all not that great. Like, Grant Dawson's the best name there, but they're not as good as Mauricio Huffy. Green has good boxing, he's fast, he's slick, but he really doesn't have much power. I mean, really look at him. He doesn't have much KO power at this point in his career. His grappling will just not be used. His ego is going to get in the way of that. He's going to stand with Huffy, who does prove to gas in fights. He's like a McGregor. Weirdly, I've seen that comparison and I get it. But even when he gasses, he has so much power. Look at his last fight. I know his last fight on paper doesn't look good. A decision win over James Longtop, but that dude's literally the Terminator. Watch that fight and see the shots Huffy was landing on him. It was sick, and he's so unique. One of the most creative, dangerous, and powerful strikers in the entire UFC right now. I think he will KO Bobby Green inside 2 rounds, and I'm leaning towards a first-round KO that will get him a big matchup at lightweight. I do think he is going to lose to someone in the top 15, but Bobby Green won't be the guy to stop his hype train. I do think he's really, really good. Okay, somehow on the main card, Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. Way to kill the momentum of this card. Amanda Lemos is decent. She has solid power for a woman's fighter. I personally thought Yasmin Lucindo lost her last fight to Marina Rodriguez. She uses her grappling a lot, and I think Lemos is a better striker. You know what? YOLO. Give me Amanda Lemos by, you guessed it, decision. Hopefully she can stop the grappling and does well on the feet. Women's fights are always so tough for me to predict. Amanda's the underdog, and I don't mind her chances in this. Lucindo's really young. Maybe she'll dominate this fight, who knows, or maybe they'll just give it to her on a decision. But I'm going Amanda Lemos to kind of just outdo her. Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. This is a banger. Another low-key fight of the night sleeper pick, as well as the next fight. Jesus, there's so many good fights. This is a really hard fight to predict. I think Jalen Turner is weirdly the more skilled guy here. He loves to quit, though. His loss to Moicano was so bad, and even moments in the Hooker fight, he does have really crazy power, though, nasty submissions. He's really fast, and I think he's one of those fighters where if he really just locked in, he would be deadly. I know people said that about Kevin Holland, but when you look at Jalen Turner, that's really the case. I can't believe his record's 14-8. That's insane. He's so good, but he fails me, he fails his family, and he fails himself. Bahamondes is coming off a KO win over Manuel Torres, which is insanely impressive. 11 KOs and 16 wins is also crazy good. God, I feel crazy because I low-key feel like Jalen Turner can win this. His power is on the same level as Ignacio, if not better, and I feel like his submission threat is higher, but I think he's less hungry. I think he has less heart. I want to pick Turner, but until he proves he can really grit down again, like he did against Dan Hooker, don't get me wrong, but he also showed moments of fumbling the bag in that fight. I can't pick Jalen Turner until he proves that I can. You know what I mean? I'm going to go Ignacio probably by a banger decision, 29-28. He's just going to grit down more when it matters. This one's super tough, and don't be surprised if Jalen Turner gets this one. I really want to pick Jalen Turner, but I just can't. I can't do it. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev 2. It definitely sucks we lost Gaethje versus Dan Hooker, and it sucks this is Fiziev even. Don't get me wrong, this is going to be a sick fight, and I am excited for it, and the first one was insane, but it happened not that long ago. I won't complain that much, though, because I really am excited for it. Gaethje's still a beast. He lost to Max Holloway in the KO of all time, but Holloway's a monster, we know this. Justin has looked way more technical over the years. He's still so powerful. The leg kicks are great, and it's going to be massive in this fight because Fiziev is coming back from a leg injury, so that might be a target here. In the first fight, I low-key thought Fiziev won round 1 and 2, but it was very close. He slowed a lot in the third, and he has a big layoff due to that injury in his last fight. I really like Rafael Fiziev, and I'm honestly rooting for Fiziev because I don't want Gaethje to get a title shot off of this win. He does not deserve it. I will riot. Even though I really do like Justin Gaethje as well, it would just be crazy if they gave him a title shot beating Rafael Fiziev. I am rooting for Fiziev. I think it would be fun to see a new name like that enter the top 3. The odds on this are a lot closer than I thought. I just think after such a long layoff, after already losing to Gaethje and showing you slow down, I think Gaethje will win this fight again in a much clearer decision. Probably 30-27, maybe 29-28, but with those 2 rounds being way more clear than the first time. Maybe Fiziev will shock me. Maybe he'll come out and be really fast, more technical, more on. I would love that, but I do think this is Justin's fight to win, and I think he has a high chance of even getting a finish in this one. I'm just going to pick a decision to be safe, though. Okay, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. This is the one. This is the fight we've all been curious to see and also terrified to see if you're a fan of either of these guys. Low-key a nightmare matchup for both of them. Alex Pereira is a star of the UFC right now, super active, saving events left, right, and center, KOing everybody, being memeable. He's just a god. He most recently beat Khalil Roundtree by 4th round TKO in a super competitive good fight, but Khalil is super tough, fast, and skilled. Magomed has a really rough road to the title. He's on an 11-fight win streak with a draw and a no contest in there that they had to rebook that no contest. It was just a mess. Probably should have gotten the title shot a lot sooner than this. One thing we need to talk about is this man is not just a wrestler. He's a striker. Primarily he boxes, and he's honestly really good. Can he wrestle? Look at his last name. Of course he can. He has said he isn't going to wrestle a lot in this match, but he has to be lying. If you're just going to strike with Alex and you have the opportunity to wrestle, you're just committing suicide at that point. A big factor in this fight will be the calf kicks of Alex. We saw Jan Blachowicz kill Magomed's leg in their fight, which resorted to Magomed using his wrestling. Alex has great calf kicks, but his are mostly outside calf kicks, where Jan was landing a lot of inside kicks. Alex's calf kicks are so insanely sneaky and quick, though, where even if you're a good defender and preparing for it, he's still going to land them. In terms of striking, I do feel like Magomed is insanely underrated, and skill for skill, it isn't too far off from being even from one another. I do think Alex has a major power advantage, though. I think he's quicker, more technical, and just more accurate. If Magomed uses his wrestling, he will find success. We have seen Alex taken down before. Even Izzy took him down. To be fair, there was no way Alex was preparing or expecting a takedown from Adesanya, so I don't take a whole lot away from that. His takedown defense against Jan Blachowicz looked way more improved, and he's had to have been working on that, knowing this matchup was somewhere down the line. What I need Alex to not do is try to pull guillotine, because that's just not going to work in a championship fight against someone like Magomed Ankalaev. You're not going to get a guillotine. Please don't sell the bag by doing that. This fight's honestly very 50-50. I'm worried for Alex. One big factor is that we're in Ramadan, though. This fight's taking place during Ramadan, if you don't know, which is a major factor against Magomed Ankalaev. The UFC definitely wants Alex to win. I want Alex to win, and you watching probably wants Alex to win. Look at me right now and tell me you want Magomed Ankalaev to be on the cover of posters as the world champion. If you said you want that, literally, you're blocked. Unbiasedly, I am going with Alex to win this. I think he's going to knock out Magomed in round 2 or 3. I think Alex will be able to defend the takedowns in the beginning of this fight, at least. I think he's better and more powerful on the feet. I think he has all the momentum in the world. Plot armor. He has this one. I really do think so. Maybe Magomed will pull a Bilal and just dominate this fight with the grappling and be able to shut down the striking. But I'm going Alex Pereira by KO. I think he's got this one. I really do. And who knows what's in store for him after. Maybe a Tom Aspinall. You know, he's going for triple champ status. Maybe he'll welcome Dricus up. Something. There's a lot of opportunities after this fight. If Magomed wins, God forbid, they will do an immediate rematch for Alex, and it'll just be kind of annoying. Alex by KO, round 2 or 3. I'm calling it. I think Ramadan's really going to kind of cook. Was that a bad, pun? I don't even know. I didn't mean it like that. But I do think Ramadan's really going to screw over Magomed. Did I say Magomed's going to screw over Ramadan? I don't know. I'll have to watch that back. Anyways, that's it. UFC 313, honestly pretty stacked, and it's crazy because 314 and 15 look even better. So we'll talk about those when it's time. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you agreed with, disagreed with. Let me know who your locks of the card are, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one. Peace.